Let me show you how we can set up a secure folder on POCO C85. So in this case, unfortunately, there is no dedicated secure private folder or anything like that that is available, for example, on devices such as Samsung, let's say. But still, there are some other ways that we can use on this phone in order to store some data privately. For example, we can use the Files app by Google. If we go over here, you should be able to find the save folder, which we can easily set up. This allows you to send files to that save folder, which is of course locked behind a password that you can set up. So if we tap on the save folder, we can choose a pin code or pattern. In my case, I'm going to set up an easy pattern, of course. Let's go next and enter the same password again. And there we go. We have our the save folder created. And over here, if I, for example, want to hide some images, if I want to store them in that save folder, I can just open it over here, tap on these three dots, and then I have moved to save folder. Of course, we need to enter the password in order to confirm, but there we go. We can also press and hold our finger in order to select multiple items at once. Tap on these three dots in the upper right corner, and then we have moved to save folder again. And then, of course, we can access all of it by just reopening the save folder. There we go. So this can be quite useful in storing some files and data that we don't want to be public like that on our phone. Of course, this has a little drawback, and it is that we cannot really hide apps in here, because usually secure folders, generally speaking, also have the option to add apps to that secure folder, so we can use these apps privately or separately from everything else that we have on this phone. So there is maybe we can call it an alternative, but what you can do is you can just hide these apps on your phone that you don't want to store over here, let's say in the app drawer. So in order to do that, you can, for example, open the security app, and then you might be able to find the hide apps option in the common features. But if not, then you can just scroll down in here and then open the toolbox by swiping up. And we have the hide apps option in this place. And now we can decide which apps should be hidden. So let's say I'm going to hide WhatsApp and I'm going to hide AliExpress, and of course we can move on. So now if I want to access these apps, I can just spread two fingers apart on the home screen. And there we go. We can also create an app lock as well. So if you want it to be harder to access, then of course you can create the password as well. And this is how we can protect our apps. So combining these two things can be quite useful, and we can of course use the secure folder like that. And there is one more thing that I think I want to mention. If we go to settings and then proceed to additional settings, then over here we have the users option. So you can create a new user on your phone, which will have completely different password. And then you can store data on that separate user instead of using the Files app and using the Hidden Apps option. But this can be quite annoying to use as well, because you might need to constantly switch between users in order to do something, and it might be difficult to actually transfer files between these users as well. So I believe that the Files app and the Hidden Apps option is actually the best choice in this case. Subscribe to my channel.